Today, I'm beyond excited to share with you something truly special, my ultimate junk journal planner shelf tour. Get ready to dive into a world of creativity, organization, and sheer inspiration. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. In part 1, I'll guide you through my very first junk journal planners and share the stories behind them. And in part 2, coming in a few days, we'll pick right up where we left off and continue exploring my collection up to my current junk journal planner. If you're like me, you know that a junk journal planner is not just a notebook. It's a magical gateway to self-expression and planning nirvana. And today I'll be taking you on a visual feast showcasing my carefully curated collection of junk journal planners that are brimming with memories, ideas, and personal touches. From vintage-themed spreads to grunge and whimsical designs, this shelf houses an array of unique creations, each with its own story to tell. Join me as we embark on a journey through the pages of my life, where moments, dreams, and goals intertwine beautifully. Whether you're a seasoned journal junkie or just starting your creative journey, this video has something for everyone. So I started making junk journal planners in July 2020, and it was something that I'd never seen on YouTube at all. It was either a junk journal or a planner, but I wanted to combine the two because that just made total sense to me. I love keeping track of my tasks and my steps in an analog visual way, and I love working in journals. And as you can see here, these are all altered books. So it's a different style than what I have today. I will link my Plan With Me playlist for you below so that you can see how I made each of the planners that I'm showing you today. So let's start off with the very first one that I ever made. I really still totally adore this one. This is an old Reader's Digest condensed book. So there's 4 Reader's Digest issues in here. I found this at my Goodwill. I'm guessing it was like €3. I love the size of it. I took out pages in between. Again, please refer to the playlist to see how many pages, etc., etc. I used fabric tabs so that I can easily find where the new month starts. I just made a very simple collage here. I believe these are all from the Digital Collage Club. I left the back as it is. I just love this pattern. It's so adorable. Left this as it is. And then I started with July here. And at that time, I didn't have any calendar kits, of course, because I didn't know this was going to become a thing. I didn't know whether I would enjoy it, but I so loved working in this, I remember. So I handmade this calendar and I used to add the videos that I was publishing here as well. This was actually before I used to track that on my computer, which is what I do now. I have these tiny step trackers here where I can't even see how many steps I took, but at least I see on what days I managed 10,000 steps. Again, this was handmade. I used a lot of components from the Your Creative Studio boxes, which I was receiving at the time. These backgrounds are from Amity Bloom. I had my to-do lists, my gratitude, which sadly I don't do at the moment. I even had a wish list. What did I wish for? Art glitter glue, bulbs for studio lights, and 35mm film stamp. Lots of collaging. There's my first real 10,000 step tracker, and I did super well that year. Wow. This was, of course, in the middle of the pandemic, so I guess I walked a lot. And then I also used to do monthly summaries, which I think is really fun and I don't do anymore. Let's see, what did I write? I'm super happy with how much I walked this month. Very proud of myself. as I should be. Also proud that I managed to pre-film so many videos to keep up with 3 videos a week, but not sure if it's sustainable over the long run. Worked on digis, but could have done more. So 3 videos a week in the long run is not an easy task. I can't speak to that now, 3 years later. But it's worth it and I enjoy it. But it's something I really need to stay on top of because you can fall behind easily. Just like 1 week of not filming and I feel like I lost momentum. So that is definitely something that is constantly on my mind. Wow, I did really well here as well for August. I remember this was a bee kit from the Your Creative Studio. Here I used washi tape to add my dates for the weeks. More into the neutrals here. These are images from a kit from Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah. I think these were bits that were left over from a collaboration video that I had with her. Wow, again, I did so well. Wow, I'm so proud of myself. I really walked so much, more than I do now. Very much into neutral colors here. Stamping my dates here. So it looks like October was the month that I started making planner kits, October 2020. Still really, really good with my steps here. Yeah, because here I can see my dates are printed. But what I do notice here is that I didn't leave any room for creative pages in between these pages. And of course, since this was an altered book, I also didn't have the chance to bind in like other papers or envelopes or pockets or anything like that. Of course, I could have always attached them as a flip, but apparently I wasn't thinking of that at that time. November, still not so bad with the steps, given that it's very cold and nasty outside most of the time. So yeah, some collaging, didn't go overboard here. Not so much going on here towards the end. This is December. So at the end of the year, not only did I write a summary for December, but also for the whole year. So I wrote, the COVID pandemic cast a huge shadow over this year. Since March, we were in full lockdown on and off. Still, I opened my online shop in September and it did quite well as my channel and collab with the Digital Collage Club. I really can't complain. I'm forever grateful I'm able to work from home, be my own boss, and love what I do. Aww, it's so true, and I still feel all of that. It's so nice to read these things. So I'd like to encourage you to add some summaries of your months and years, because as you can see, it's really precious to go back a few years later and read what you were going through at the time. So this is Junk Journal Planner number 2. As you can see, it's also an altered book. I love, love, love this lace here on the spine. How gorgeous. I just went over the fabric book cover with some gesso to distress it a little bit. Then I added this card. I believe this is a digital of mine with some brads. Kept it very simple, but I really, really loved this one. I also added these beautiful end papers, which are by Nick the Booksmith. She has lots of different marbled end papers in her Etsy shop. Absolutely gorgeous. I left all these original pages in the front. And then we're starting with January 2021. Always with a cover page, kind of like I do now. Then the calendar, and again I have my fabric tab so that I can easily find the month. I think this is when I started the book's red pages. And as you can see, I read a lot during that time. I'm very proud of myself. Oh yeah, and I I have these stamps. I think these were from the Your Creative Studio boxes. And I stamped and cut out these books. And every time I read one, I colored it. So these 3 aren't colored because I only read 9 books, which is actually not so bad for me. Still have my step tracker, another collage with a hand-drawn little birdie. Another piece of that beautiful lace that I have in the front. And here I did not go wild with decorations. Very neutral. Here we are in February. Oh, I'm so proud of my past self. I equated 1 hour of fitness with 10,000 steps. So all these yellow ones are 1 hour fitness. Wow, you go, girl. Then see here, I started leaving room to make some art. So I have these 2 collages. Love that. Makes it much more interesting to look through because I'm not really going to read my to-dos and my tasks when I go back. But of course, what I do like is looking at my art. So the more of that I have in between, the more likely I am to look through it. So here we are in March. I still did my monthly summaries. The biggest achievements this month were producing and sending my first newsletter, which I'm proud of, as I should be. Also seeing the first videos of my design team members, which seems so surreal. Oh, what a big month that was. By the way, if you're on my newsletter mailing list and you're wondering why you haven't seen one in a while, the newsletter is on a summer break, just to give me a little bit of a breather next to filming all my videos and producing monthly digital. So please hang in there. It will return in fall. Fitness, walking, man, my gosh, I must have been so fit. Yeah, and this is when I started adding ephemera, just like in a regular junk journal. I really like that. Another collage. In between, I didn't do that much. I mean, I glued on all these bits, which were always from my monthly kits. But that's it. Here we are in April 2021. Oh, what happened here? I didn't do so well with my fitness there. So another collage here, and that's the end of that. So that's 4 months. Then my next one was again an altered book. This time I decided to cover it with fabric, which was the first time I ever attempted a fabric cover on an altered book. And I'm quite happy with how it turned out. As you can see, I also added these metal tabs. I still have my monthly tabs here, but as you can see, this time they are not fabric, but they are from a tab digital that I decided to make. I still have my books read here in the front. Didn't do so well those 4 months apparently. Still like this fun collage. I kept my monthly intro pages, always having a quote in the front. Then my calendar where I still manually wrote the videos I was posting. My step tracker. I guess I stopped with the fitness, but I was still pretty good with the walking. Then I left a page to do some collaging. And then we go into the month. We have our May summary. We have our June intro page with another quote. Still doing well with my steps. But again, didn't do a lot creatively on these pages except to glue down some of the bits from my kits. This was a fun mermaid kit. Ooh, really good job with the walking. But again, nothing exceptional, nothing super interesting, just sticking to the kits. Oh, I didn't even write a summary for July there. Oh, and here in August, I think I started using my electronic calendar on my computer. So I love still having this as an overview for the month, but I was not putting in my videos manually. And as you can see here, these tabs here have months on them. I think I should have had the months on top here. That would have made more sense. But still, if you want to find these, I will make a link for these in my shop. I also have a version without the month, so just the colorful tabs. Not so much interesting stuff to look at. So that was planner number 3. And this is planner number 4, and this was kind of a big disappointment. I again covered it with fabric, which I really liked. I added my digitals on the back, spine, and front. I really like this front. Again, it's an altered book, but I did not put a lot of effort into this. And this was when I lost my mojo for making these kind of planners. Again, I have my books. I was reading more apparently. So this starts with September and a quote. Still did really well on my walking. And as you can see here, I didn't hardly, on some of the pages, I guess. Like here, I didn't put anything extra. Well, okay, this has an image. I guess I felt it didn't need anything extra. But looking through this, I don't know, it kind of seems boring, and it looks like I was bored with it. Oh, and this is, of course, where things went downhill. Because first I thought I sprained my ankle on a vacation in Egypt, but then later it turned out that I had actually broken my ankle, which they didn't figure out until weeks later when I had a checkup in Vienna because it wasn't getting any better. So then, of course, no walking for quite a while. Again, I really didn't put a lot of effort into these. Oh, I have a nice bookmark. I think I'm going to take this out because I can definitely use that in other journals because it's so eclectic. I don't really see it in here. This was a kit I really enjoyed for November. This was called On My Desk. This was a collaboration with my friend Ray, who is a super talented illustrator. As you can see here, sadly, no steps. I had to keep my foot up as much as possible. Oh, didn't bother to put in any gratitude. I remember I just wasn't feeling this planner. I didn't make a November summary. So this was when I knew I had to switch it up to keep me motivated to work in planners in this way. So that's when I started this newer series of planners made from scratch, made from packaging, and I totally adore this one. I love how grungy it is. I love that it's made with recycled materials. I had 3 months in here, so each signature is a month. On the back here, this is some waste paper. There's some lace here, and I stitched my signatures right through. This again was waste paper, and this is when I started adding an image from the digital kit I was using for the first month in the journal on the front. So again, if you want to see how I made this, please see the playlist below. So this kit was my Secret Forest Society, and with this whole planner I really went all out. And I started adding so much more because I felt so much freer having these signatures into which I could bind anything. And this is still the method that I use today, although my covers today are different. And I loved adding little details here and little things to pull out of pockets. So this is much more what I'm also still doing today. A little booklet with some journaling. Tiny paper clip to hold that closed. Even added a bit of journaling here. Lots of layering. Really love this little page. I think because of this fluffy little feather and this twine here. This was the time where I was also getting into Procreate. I had a new iPad on which I could finally have Procreate, and I learned how to make designs with that. And sadly, I must say I did not continue with that. And I can't even tell you why. I love digital designing. I design my monthly kits. But for some reason, doing it in Procreate, even though I thought I would love it, didn't stick. Very, very interesting. So this is a wallpaper pocket. Then I have my 10K step tracker, which is still empty because for months, of course, I could not walk. I did super well with reading. I loved that I was able to add random papers as well as my coffee dyed papers. Oh, here I started adding my videos again by hand in this calendar, but I'm pretty sure I had it digitally as well. I don't think I kept this up for very long. Just some fun different papers that I had laying around. I added some hand drawings. Still had my to-dos and my gratitude. More hand drawing. So I had a lot more space for journaling, for art. This was another tutorial that I took for Procreate. Added these photos here of an Instagram survey. That was a lot of fun. Obviously, I grunged up a lot of these pages. Really like this collage here. It's very dimensional. And I wasn't really too worried about the bulk. This is another Procreate. Moth by Genevieve's Designs. I mean, it's mine, but I followed a tutorial by Genevieve's Designs. Love these little pages in between. There's another manga with Procreate. Love these vellum pockets. A belly band with a hand-drawn mandala and mandalas created with Procreate. I could never do one this intricate by hand, obviously. I so love having all these bits of art in here. Then we come to March. For March, I added some mandalas that I had hand-drawn a couple of years earlier. So I just made photocopies of those. Oh, I started walking a little bit here. Look at that. That makes me happy. This is a handmade flower. Another Procreate drawing. Another one of my mandalas. So this is actually from a printable that I offer. Tim Holtz tissue paper in the back here. Collage spread. Another one of these printable mandalas. Little booklet with journaling. Love this one too. I did this directly on a book page using a pen, and I believe these were water-soluble wax pastels. Love this trim that I received from my Turkish friend. This is a really cool collage. I love these vibrant colors here. This is from watercolors. By the way, this kit is called Boho Birds, with all of these birds and dream catchers and feathers. Another drawing with Procreate, which I remember took me forever. It doesn't look that sophisticated, but it just took me forever. Another one of my mandala printables, and then inside is an envelope with a very simple tag and some journaling. Love this little cluster. So cute. One of my hand-drawn birds. I do also have a digital with my little birds. Then we come to April, Felix Fox and the Gang kit. And I love this month because I put a lot of effort into adding little clusters and stitching. Like here, for example, I just think these are so cute. I was experimenting quite a bit here. I really like this belly band, which is actually a double belly band. I made this huge tag. Love these little flaps. This one has a pocket. All the little details is what make the difference. Adding original vintage ephemera. This is a little envelope with a magnetic closure. A little postcard from my kit inside. I have a smile on my face the whole time while I'm flipping through this one. Again, little clusters here and here. I just adore those. Oh, there's another one here. They are tactile, they are cute. Very strange collage here. Another cute cluster detail. So that means I need to make more of these mini clusters because I enjoy them a lot. It's really good to go back through your journals or planners or whatever you have to see what do you still like and maybe you stopped doing because you forgot about it. Empty. My tree stamps. Another little cluster down here. Super grungy. Yeah, I was trying to use up these from the Your Creative Studio. And finally we have this, which is a wallpaper with a negative of die cuts and some paper underneath. See, I stopped making the tabs for the month, so here it's a lot harder to find where the new month starts. I mean, it doesn't really matter for flipping through it, but that is a nice thing to have. And with that, we come to an end of part 1 of my ultimate junk journal planner shelf tour. I hope you enjoyed the journey through the first half of my cherished collection. We've explored a multitude of themes, styles, and personal touches that make each journal planner truly unique. But the adventure doesn't end here. In part 2, we'll continue delving into the remaining treasures on my shelf and covering even more inspiration, techniques, and planning wonders. So mark your calendars and make sure you're subscribed and have the bell notification turned on. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.